Lisa, can I start?
No.
Oh, okay,
Issue.
no problem.
Diane, sorry.
No problem.
So how's the beach, Diane?
It's gorgeous down here.
Okay, I think we're good, Diane.
Super, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, May 8th, 2023. Going to move in and ask Elizabeth to do a roll call for us.
Andy Brecker, Anna Eddy,
Here.
Pauline Crook,
Here.
Iris Larson, Leanne Mankey,
Here.
Scott McBride, Maureen O'Connor Lyons,
Here.
Neil Ryan,
Here.
Christine Shushin,
Yeah.
Diane Sam,
Here,
Fiona York, here, Sheila Rowell,
Here.
and David Nagel.
Iris is here. She's,
Oh, she is.
yeah, she's online. Iris, you're muted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that concludes Roy.
super, thank you very much. Do we have any public in the room? I don't see any public online. No public participants?
No.
Thank you. Then I'll move on to Town Council Liaison. Dave?
Hi, I don't have much to report of importance to the library and everyone. I think probably is what's been an ongoing thing and is progressing in between formal meetings, and that's the interviewing of new town manager. The process has moved down to 3. Tomorrow night, more information may be given as to what happens in terms of the final 3. I don't want to upstate the information that goes then. And since the meetings that we've been having on Zoom and whatever with those who have applied, they've all been in executive sessions, so that's privileged, and I don't think it's appropriate to share any more than that, but I thought you'd like to know that we're coming closer and closer, and a meeting of interviews with those 3 finalists will be held in the near future, and I need our details tomorrow if you tune in to the town council meeting. That's it, unless you have questions about something else. Yes.
My standings like this.
Yes, we have 3 official members to the Central Facility Committee. It's not a full slate, but it's enough to have a quorum. So if they choose to meet, they can. But I have no further information about when and will they meet, and if any additional people will be added tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Sure.
Super. Thank you, Dave. Any other questions for Dave? If not, I'll move on to the secretary's report. Iris?
I have no report.
Thank you, Iris. Good to see you. Or
Yeah, I
your
see
ceiling.
you. I'm on.
Okay, next I would move for the approval of minutes. Have people had a chance to review the minutes? Are there any changes or corrections? Somebody's gonna have to be my eyes in the room because I can't really see.
This is Anna. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
This is Maureen. I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, motion carries. We approve the minutes as written. Thank you. Review of the annual activities calendar. So May is race. Everything's about the race. For those of you that were able to join the race committee meeting earlier, thank you. We seem to be in good shape, but it always comes down to the volunteers at the last minute to make sure that we've got everything where it's supposed to be at that time. The other items that we should talk about, or at least I want to put the thoughts in your head, is at the June meeting, we'll be talking about nominations and committees that people want to be on. We'll probably send out some paperwork before the June meeting so that you can be thinking about the different committees that we have, where you would like to be on those committees. And of course, anyone who's interested in serving in an officer's position, if they're a corporate member, if you're not, talk to me. Maybe we can try to figure something out between now and September when that comes up. So that's really what's going on in May on my calendar. We don't have a book sale set up for the Friends in May, right? We just had one.
No.
Okay.
No.
You haven't recovered yet.
Barely.
All right. Okay, so next we will move on. If there's no questions on that, we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Leanne Mankey.
Okay, this month's report looks a little different. After our last meeting, we established checking and money market accounts at TD Bank with the idea that we will eventually be under one umbrella at one institution. Our safety deposit box is there. Now we have a credit card there. So as we kind of close out the remaining fiddly bits that are with the other accounts, eventually we'll all be under the auspices of TD. Currently, the only difference in my report is I hadn't established an online presence because it was later in the month with TD. So one of the accounts, the money market, had earned $5.48 in interest, and it's not on the report. But otherwise, the amounts currently, the checkings remain as unrestricted, and the money markets will be where our easily accessed restricted funds are. Our balance at this point, Santander checking at the end of April was $40,771.93. There's $20,000 in the TD checking account. The money market, which is unrestricted funds, is currently at $229,703.59. That's the Kingston non-investment fund. The Santander money market restricted funds is at $20,727.63, with the $20,000 moved out into the TD money market, which is restricted, which is currently at $20,005.48, rather than the 20 that's reflected on the report that you see. We have had a few larger bills that we've paid since the beginning of May, like the t-shirts and things like that. So we will have the expenses that come from that, but we're well positioned. The reason I have things split between the two banks is I don't want to get fees because we don't have the proper balances until we can change everything over. And then the restricted funds report, restricted unrestricted percentage is on the lower part of that. The only other thing that I would ask as treasurer is if anything needs to be done between the 15th of May and probably the end of May, I would ask that you try and get it to me this week, or at least make me aware of it. I am having surgery, and I'm having surgery on my dominant hand. So it could be a challenge for not just check writing, but computer entry and things like that. It's not something that isn't doable, and we have people who are signatory to the accounts. It's just getting it orchestrated because I can't drive for a while. That's it.
I have a question, Mrs. Maureen. The Santander checking account and money market, will those be closed out?
Yes. I mean, they weren't bad to deal with, but they don't have a business credit card. It's only personal credit cards, and they don't have safety deposit boxes. And what you find is, I guess my goal was that someday I won't have this job. But it would be much easier if it's all under, at least
Right.
within one institution, not necessarily within the same building, but within the same institution. And I did shop it around and they were the best spot.
Yeah, I understand that. Is it easy to close an account like that? You just withdraw the money and?
I go in, I mean, it's just courtesy to go in and change to make sure that there are no fees that they hit us, because if we hit below those fee structures and things like that, but they're aware of it because of the checks that I've written, and I'm in there all the time with deposits, so. They're aware with that I was not happy they didn't have a bank card or, a credit card.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Leanne, I know that was a lot of work. I truly appreciate you doing that. And I second her request for everybody to get whatever bills are payable, because I'm the other person that signs those checks. So we don't want that happening. But just get
you
things
have to
going.
write them.
Yeah. I can write them, but thank you and good luck with the hand surgery. I know that was not anticipated at this time, but again, it was an awful lot of work to find the right banking facility that could meet all of our needs. And I know that you've spent quite a bit of time on that going through, so appreciate it. Does anybody else have questions for Leanne in the treasurer's report? I'm going to take the silence as no. You're going to have to help me out, folks.
Diane, no, you're good.
Okay, thank you. So next up, we'll go to the library's director report. Lisa?
Sure. Okay, so the big news is that the town council passed our budget and teen librarian position is in the budget. Thank you, thank you.
Yay!
Thank you for your support. We're very excited. We just posted the position. You have to post it because it's a union position internally for 5 days. And so we're waiting. We should know tomorrow if anyone applied. So it's anybody within the entire town union. And then once we find out that information, we'll move forward. And we're hoping to have the person hired and ready to roll by July 1st when the position gets funded. So
Great.
we're very excited, very excited. I can't tell you how excited we are. And just staff is thrilled. So, and a lot of good ideas coming forth. So that was the big news. Saturday, we had the seed garden and library propagation station open today. Officially open today. They had a program on this past Saturday where people could you could grow your own salad bowl, and they gave you the plants to make your own lettuce salad. So they had 53 people come to the program and do that. And we actually, first thing this morning at 10 o'clock, we opened the doors and someone was here to get her seeds from the seed library. So that was really nice. So we'll see how that goes. And then people can also take clippings. They can bring clippings in and swap out or just donate clippings. And towards the end of the summer, what you try to do is get people to donate seeds back so we can save them and then have them for next summer. So that's something new that the staff is doing. Our lawn games are out again. And we're already working with the Newington Soccer Club for they have a big tournament the weekend of, I think it's Father's Day weekend at the high school. And they've asked if they can check out our lawn games for some of the little kids who are hanging around waiting for their, so yeah, so we're working with them to make sure the little ones have something to do. If you look around the walls and look at the art, this is one of our staff members, Allison Bolton, this is her artwork. And she's actually selling like either small cards or I think like 8 by 10 prints of some of these, like the turtles. I already bought one. My sister had Vinny the turtle, so I had to buy Jill one for her house. But yeah, this is her artwork. It's beautiful, and she's actually going to be doing an art class this summer for public. The school visits, we've staff finished all their school visits for the year. We just finished with E Green Schools. They had 170 students come this past month to visit the schools. They actually did visited 12 daycares during the month as well, which was nice. They're doing more outreach to the daycares. One of the things I was looking at statistics for them, their 2-year-old program, the story time is averaging about 45 to 50 kids per program, which is pretty amazing. They're saying that age, like the 1s and the 2s, or they're just filling up like that. So parents are definitely looking for things for their kids to do. We're getting ready for summer reading, which kicks off for adults. It's early June. For the teens and children, it's going to be a little bit later in June. The theme this year is Find Your Voice. And so we're all getting ready for that. The children's and the teens, they're going to go into the schools and they're going to go into the middle schools more than the high school, but they go in and they talk about summer reading. They talk about the nutmeg books and things like that. So they're getting ready for all those school visits as well. And then Karen, I'm just gonna, if you notice, we have closed captioning on our Zoom. So I think Karen mentioned it last meeting that we had a request from a patron who has some hearing difficulties. And one of the nice things about Zoom is that you can set the closed captioning. If you do it from home, if you do it, you have to set it up here at our level so they can see it from home. But if we have a program with just a speaker and we're not going to do a hybrid method, you could still set up a Zoom meeting. You just turn the camera off, but the closed captioning will show up on the screen. So that's what we're going to try to do for this person when we have speakers, so that she can enjoy the program. She's just has a hard time hearing them speak. The big thing, and that's what's nice about the OWL system, is the speaker will pick up the voice. The challenge you also have with it though is if anyone has side conversations, it's going to pick that up too. And that's going to show as well. So you just have to remind people about that. So we're going to be using this method, as well as the senior center is doing the same thing. They bought the OWL system as well. So that's something new that we're trying. And then Karen just wanted me to mention that, one other thing that I did mention last month was we're doing training with Yvonne about the DEI training. So she met with, did focus groups. She's doing one-on-ones with me and Karen, and mine is actually tomorrow. And then she's going to move forward about, working with staff some more. And a lot of it also is communication, as better ways to communicate with each other and with the public. We had a couple of really good programs. I'm going to mention Hainel when we talk about Hainel, but Karen just had fashion and fiction. It was about a Jane Austen fashion, and they had 50 people show up for that program too. So people are coming back, which is really nice to see for in-person programming, but they also like to have hybrid methods sometimes as well. So I think that's about all I have. That's it.
Can I ask about the in-person?
Sure.
Have you I don't know if you have numbers or metrics, but have you noticed, does it seem like the numbers are getting back to how they were pre-pandemic, or is it still?
No, I mean, in some are, well, the children's programming are starting to come back to where that is, but I think with adults, we're seeing bigger numbers, which is great. I mean, we were kind of capping it for a while to like 30 or 40. So we're starting to let more in. We haven't seen like the big surge, but I don't know. We'll see I don't know. Some people are still kind of like, they don't want to sit too close to somebody else, which I get. You get that too. So, yeah. Okay. That's it, Diane.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Any other questions for Lisa? No, good. So just remember, all those sidebar conversations get picked up on OWL, and soon they'll be up in print. Oh, pretty scary. Next up would be Friends of the Library Report with Sheila. Sheila Rao, I thought I saw you in there for a minute.
The book sale did pretty well. All of those CDs we talked about last time were a huge, incredibly huge hit. They had dealers that came back 2 days in a row, and they had people making little armies up there, picking out the things they wanted and passing them to other people who were looking for other things. It was really fun to be there with them. And the end of the day, the book sale made $13,500. So it did very well. We also, around the same time, we had a large donation from the New Britain Museum of American Art, that they were, of books, art books, because they're cleaning out an area that, they want to put more, art obviously in. And so they got rid of most of their books that were non-American, because they are the Museum of American Art. We went over and picked up, 3 trunk loads full of books. And I guess, have you finished looking at them? And, they're in the shed. Some of them are absolutely beautiful books, art books, big, huge ones. So we'll see what we're gonna do with those. When the library gets first choice, they can pick them out of there and do whatever they want with them. And then, we had a couple of other thoughts that maybe offering some to the high school for the art program. Don't know whether or not they have them or what, but anyway, we're, looking at that. We did staff appreciation last week. We sent bagels and, fruit and et cetera, over to the library, last Wednesday. Last Wednesday. We are the very happy recipients of the Chamber of Commerce Gail Whitney Service Award, which is going to be presented on the 23rd at their annual meeting. And I think there's several of us going. We're trying to get that together, and that's for community service. After the book sale, we had a chance to go down and really clean the basement. So we washed down all of the shelves. We took all the plastic bins we used for sorting. We took them outside and pulled them all down and cleaned everything up, vacuumed everything. So hopefully that's going to help the area down there, because it gets very stuffy. It gets and the books we get are old. Sometimes we have a lot of old books, so the area gets a little questionable down there. So that was really good. And that's all that's new with us.
I have a question.
Yeah.
All great news, Sheila. Did the museum mention why we were chosen and not the New Britain Public Library?
I think they were asked and said no.
And they declined.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean,
Do they have a book sale?
I'm just very surprised, and obviously, to me, I mean, we didn't ask, we got over there, but when I got over there, and nobody said.
No, I think it's great. I would just.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Maybe they already went.
Timing.
It might be timing, it might be when they have.
I mean, I know they have book sales. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're as
Mhm.
extravagant as ours, but I know they're frequent, but.
Yeah, I don't, I know we have a couple of the fonts that work over there, live in Newington, and I think that precipitated a lot of it in conversation over there. Because I've talked to several of them, but, we're really excited to get the books to
Yeah,
come
I
here.
think it's great. I just.
That's good. Billy said he had a lot of CDs and I did see them. What did when the sale was over, did you have a lot left? Did they get picked up by
Well,
the?
actually, we had about 9 flats left,
Yeah,
and they went up to one of the
Natalie's daughter's.
daughter's library in Massachusetts.
that was nice.
Was having a book sale, so we shipped them off there,
Yeah.
so.
She filled up her car right at the end and.
Did she? Oh, good,
Yeah.
that's good. And I was liaison this past month to the Friends, and I did bring up the idea of doing the legacy flyer going out as an attachment.
Yep.
As a PDF.
Oh, as a PDF.
Yeah, and they said that's perfectly fine. So,
Yeah.
I just thought I'd share that. Thank you, Sheila.
Great. Any other questions for Sheila?
No.
No? Great, super. Congratulations on that book sale. That's great. Next, we'll move into committee reports. The budget passed and our teen librarian position, sorry, I should let Leanne speak to this, but our teen librarian position was approved. Do we have any other comments on the budget at this time?
No, it's done for the year.
So we get 2 happy dances, right? We got the position and it's over. So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for your efforts in that. Was much appreciated. Next up is PEP, Planning, Evaluation, and Policy. Pauline?
Nothing so far. I have a couple people who have been negligent in sending back their evaluation forms, but as soon as they do, they know who they are. I will get my tail working.
Speaking of who they may be, did you get my email the other week?
Yes.
Okay. I'm never sure if I have your correct email.
Did you get mine?
Yes.
So I'm not.
No.
Who you're talking. Okay.
No.
So much for trying to be incognito, right? All of us panicked people. You got mine, right?
I try to be.
I know, I appreciate that. Sorry, I just had to know for myself.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So those of you who have not had a chance to respond, please do so. It's important. Next up is Investment Committee with Neil Ryan. Neil?
Yes, I sent out the April report via email earlier today. And if you look at, we had another good month in April. We finished the month with a portfolio valued at $721,423.60. They're up about almost $7,000, well, $6,500 for the month. So now for the first 4 months of the year, we're up 5.94%, which is a good start to the year. Because the market itself has been kind of choppy, but we've maintained a pretty good pace here. So yeah, so we began the year at $681,000. We're now at $721,423.60. So we've had 3 up months, 1 down month, but for the year, we're up, I could say $40,000, $40,423. We're up for the year, dollar-wise. I think percentage-wise, it's 5.94%. So the first third, that's the first third of the year, has been a good first third of the year. And I want to tell you that I'm going to contact our financial advisor, Dean Spada, with the next week or two, because we had our meeting with him in January, I believe, and he indicated he thinks you're good at investing, twice a year, which makes sense to me. So I'm going to contact him shortly, and we can meet with him June, July, sometime soon. But I just want to let you all be contacting Dean to schedule a meeting. Twice a year. And let's see. Well, the unrestricted funds haven't really changed much. We have 68.19% of our funds are restricted. And that's really all I have to report. It's a good month, and we're doing well so far.
You said 68 point, right? Yeah, no, I just was reading the closed captioning. I just wanted to make sure they saw not 16%, 68%.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
No, but that's my report. So, anyone have any questions? Usually no questions when it's a good month.
Yeah. When it's up, it's always good.
It was a bad month, there'd probably be some questions. What are you doing
right.
wrong?
So no questions, then we'll move on to House Committee with Diane Stam. And I'm very pleased to state that the town has already done a good cleaning around the library facility itself, the spring cleaning on the outside, as well as some of the things that they're doing on the inside. We are waiting for fabric selections, but I believe we've got the bench in to be reupholstered. And Lisa, you'll have to keep me honest on that as that goes through, but they have been going through.
Bench will be done when they do the chairs. He's going to pick everything up at once and just do it all at once.
Okay, so we're still waiting
Yeah.
for fabric.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So the items seem to be moving along. I know the in-house folks, Dave and everybody are checking things off the list as they go through. So very pleased all the way around.
They're doing a good job.
Oh,
Survive.
is that the NCTV star coming in?
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, next is facility and site with Maureen Lyons.
I had sent an email out earlier today with the architect's draft look at pictures that would be incorporated in our lookbook. We've run into a little bit of a standstill. Leslie Berger is ill. And she had been in Florida for the winter and was hospitalized down there. And finally made it back to New York and is hospitalized back home. As she said, out of the substandard care that she was receiving. And, you know, back to where her doctors are and a little different care that she's receiving. It's, they're not quite sure what's causing her distress. You know, this is something, and I don't think she shared with me, I don't think she would mind. She is a 25-year cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor. And she's having some kind of episode, but they don't know if it's medication related, but anyway. She feels a lot better being up here and being cared for. So while the architect had provided some of the, you know, renderings, she hasn't been able to do any of the writings. I spoke with her and actually she answered me right away, but I could tell when she was still in Florida that she was weak. So she did respond to a couple of emails. I don't really want to press the issue with her right now. And the architect knows that she's, you know, out of commission temporarily. So send some uplifting thoughts. And more to come. I mean, the architect is cooking, but they need, they would like to see the text so they could, you know, work with the text and.
Well, that makes sense. Did you want to talk about the pictures that were attached to this?
Yeah.
today, Or did you want it for me?
Well, I didn't have a meeting because we didn't have a complete, I was hoping to have text, you know, a full draft. And, I mean, have you all seen the pictures? I think they're pretty interesting.
I'm kind of disappointed. Well, I shouldn't say disappointed. I'm unclear as to what I'm looking at. Because the first picture I see, I can see the roof line from the old building in the background, but I don't see how it's blending the look. I mean, we have a look here, we have a feel, and to me, this doesn't mesh with the current feel unless we're gonna be changing everything up. I don't know. I mean, these look like skylights in two of the pictures. And are we going with skylights again? I thought we were having trouble with skylights or atriums or whatever. And these look like skylight windows. And then for me, the bottom window, the bottom picture with the stairs, it looks like the entrance of a factory building. It's so, I mean, I know this is a drawing, but this does not look like the warm, inviting library that we know. And that's just me. And you know, I mean, evidently nobody took pictures because our color is green and everything here is blue. So, you know, are we going to be changing the themes throughout the library?
Well, I think it looks more like a modern library.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't give them any instruction as to color or anything like that. What do you think, Lisa?
No, we didn't.
We never said keep the green or
But that's what I'm asking. Are we going to change the look of the library?
well, that was the old part of the library, the facade is going to remain intact.
But everything
then-
else is gonna
Everything
change.
beyond-
My understanding was that everything else was gonna be brand spanking new.
The comparative that I take away from this is, when we went down to
Ridgefield.
Ridgefield,
Yeah.
they had the old building, which was much like our decidedly older piece. And then you went into the new piece and it was a different style, definitely more modern look, much more open. The one thing I did looking at this, yes, it does look very stark. I know what you're saying, and I think color, they picked a color. We didn't give them a color. So
And
you know,
this is not etched in stone,
no,
of
but
course, these
the
are
one thing that I did notice
conceptual.
in looking at this is the skylight aspect.
And I'm not sure.
I didn't think those were skylights.
I
That
would
looked like
window.
So if you
That
look
looked
at the
like a
one that's
window
like that,
panel.
it's on the second floor. You're looking at you're looking across the open area where the stairwell is on the
Right.
third picture. I think it's the third picture.
It looked like wall windows.
They're,
That's how I interpreted it.
those are skylights when they're slanted like that.
Oh, they are, because we told them,
No skylights.
the last
We had-
conversation we had, that we wanted solar panels, but not skylights,
And
because,
the concept of the lighting coming from the side windows, which were true windows.
except, I don't know, I know you have a better idea of this from your industry. But it's similar to Richfield, how they had the windows
Yes, it is.
all around the building.
But this is more about the type of window rather than, you could,
I think though, so if I'm looking at the second image.
Yeah.
Second image, yeah, second floor. So I think, so first of all, we see lots of windows in between the bookshelves.
right,
If we didn't have light coming in from somewhere, it would be dark.
absolutely.
So,
And
yeah.
and there is a way, I mean, and whether if it's absolutely necessary for light, perhaps then you're talking about, rather than a slant, you're talking about doing your roof comes like this, and right now the skylights are like this. You could conceivably do this with a window, which then they're windows. They can be windows. They don't have to be part of the roof installation. But I'm just, and again, it's mostly experience skylights. We've had issues here.
No, we told them we didn't want them. They look like windows to me, but
Well, I would just
I would
verify then that there are
clarify
true
that.
windows and that if that's the way they've installed them. The problem, if there are windows that are installed. True windows. The key is, are they embedded in the roof line? If they're embedded in the roof line, then there are skylights, and that's where you get into the leak.
So from what I remember from the more of the architectural type drawings, it was not a skylight anymore. It was windows around the side. So I think he's taken some artistic venue instead of building it like, tall windows in a school where you just have the square rectangulars. He's got them at a little bit of an angle. So again, the question would be, what is that for upkeep? What is that for water? What is that for, clogging with leaves and gutters and stuff like that? So this is the first time that,
More snow load when it's on an angle.
right. So
And snow sits
we need to
in-
figure that out. And in terms of light, it is wonderful to have natural light.
Lindsay, and ask her for clarification.
Yes.
But- I mean, to your point, it's not, we are not warm and cozy like we are in the front of the building, but that element is still there. In defense of the architect, we didn't tell them colors, and we didn't turn around and say it couldn't be modern or anything like that. We wanted the front to be, but remain the same, and then something that would complement, but not necessarily be the same thing.
Well, with the scale that it's expected to be, how could it be like what it was? That's not possible. unless you create it in that manner.
Well, and if we're going back to that modern library aspect, as Fiona said, we're not talking small tiny rooms anymore. You want to have that ability to open up and have
Move
the
furniture
experience.
around.
Yeah, the concept that we've discussed with them about the flexibility and movability.
That's what East Hartford did too, though, at their library, when they renovated the main one. If you go in, it's the original, you know, the old building front, but the minute you step where the new part is, it's all new, you know, like contemporary.
And that's how Richfield was. It's like, if we walked in the front door, if it were a working front door from Cedar Street, you'd say, oh, you know, you walk in, but then then it's immediately open and modern and.
So what was the name of that other library that you just heard?
East Hartford.
One of the things that.
I haven't gone to
In
any,
terms of elements that you could do, I mean, yes, it is very stark compared to our warm and fuzzy
Okay.
little space here. But, for example, and I come back to Ridgefield because that was probably one of my favorite renovations on how they incorporated the old with the new. They made warm areas. For example, there was one, it's actually a fundraising area that was really unique. It was one hallway. And what was flush to the wall, but what appeared to be was bookshelves, and they were basically slats that looked like the bindings of the books. And what they did was they sold them in fundraisers so that there was like a title, but it was someone's name or whatever, but it looked like a wall of books, and it was beautifully done and very colorful, and it gave a quirkiness and a personality to that area that may have been very stark otherwise.
And that wall was leading into the community room in
Yes.
that area. I like, again, it's a personal opinion, I like that modern look. I think, it lends itself to just a whole different atmosphere, and again, the openness and the flexibility. I mean, even here with our movable stacks, I mean, it's a wonderful thing, but it's still restricted because of the space, the type of space it is.
Right, you need, if you want to have movable furniture and stacks, you have to have space to move them too, otherwise it
Yeah.
doesn't really make
And you
sense.
need the height and, yeah.
Maureen, the pictures that we're evaluating, those are 3 pictures that you sent today? And those are just interior renderings?
Yes, and then, as I understood it from previous conversations, the front of the building would be incorporated, you know, into the lookbook, what we have now, Cedar Street. And then that original drawing showing the,
This is really just an interpretation of what the inside of the library could look like.
and again, conceptual, but
Okay. And did we get anywhere, knowing that Leslie's out, did we get anywhere from Vinci and those guys about estimating costs for furniture or building or
I'm waiting
anything?
for information. Leslie recalled from the Bloomfield bill that it was like 22.6 million or something. But she said, and I reached out to Vinci and Andrew, because, you know, if they were to look at their drawings and get estimates today, they're in New York, you know, it's a different ballgame. And also the 22 million in Bloomfield, that included a walkway or a skyway that would have been a lot more than what we're looking for, but you know, we're not connecting buildings or anything. So I'm waiting to hear on that.
Okay.
But unfortunately, you know, we need to wait for Leslie.
I have a
Right, but it
question,
sounds like,
you know.
hold on, Neil.
The entrance is gonna be
It's over
here,
here.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my only comment on the pictures, I'm not an expert, and I don't pretend to even understand a lot, but the first floor, it looks open and airy, not bad. So I wouldn't say it looks like a factory, but it's.
Well, you have, I'm looking
No, I
at, I'm looking at
understand
the
what
back
Ann
of the pic,
Industrial.
I'm looking at the back of the picture, I can see the brick wall in the back. I don't see that element being carried forward anywhere, there's,
Oh, yeah, you can see the brick, let's see, on the.
you can see the brick on the one on the second
You
floor.
see the second
And,
floor, right?
and with the, and the windows, but,
But I don't know how they would incorporate, if that's such an old style, that would be probably be pretty expensive to do. Maybe they could do it a little bit throughout. Like, is that what you're thinking? Like that kind of brick look throughout?
I mean, you're
That's
looking here,
something-
you've got a little brick in the entryway, I mean, just to.
I do think that if this is the main patron area, it should be open so that people can move around and that furniture can be moved around to use that space for events and that sort of thing. Like looking at the last picture, like very easily, you could move the bookshelves out of the way and make space for an event space there. I know the Hartford Public Library does that all the time on their, they have that main staircase when you walk into the building. I know they have like multiple entries. But when you walk into the building, they have a staircase that goes down to stacks downstairs and they set up seats down there for their jazz shows all the time. It kind of looks like that to me a little bit. I don't know if that's the intention of what we wanted that space to be, but I mean, I almost think that initially it's going to maybe feel sparse. Because it's such a different feeling than we have now, but I'm sure that will change. When we actually have people and things moving around, I don't know. To me, I don't know, to me, it looks very much like a modern library, but I hear what you're saying about incorporating the older elements, but I think their vision of incorporating that is having. I mean, if we're looking at the older space, you look right at it, you see the roof, you see the stone, the windows, it's all there. I don't know what's over there. Maybe that could be like a cozy spot with furniture, like couches and things, or I don't know.
Right, so I think what we need to do, Maureen, is have a meeting for the facility and site team and invite the whole board so that they can see the blueprints that we have, those renditions, as well as these pictures here, and have this kind of discussion there. I think we want everybody's input, but I don't think the annual or the monthly board meeting is the place for it. I think everybody has great ideas and I'd like to incorporate it. The more ideas we can get into this, the better it is, right? All this brainstorming, how to incorporate, how to go through. One of the things that you can do is if you go up to the children's department and you look out across the existing skylight, that's where you see the outdoor of the building, and they're trying to keep that feel from inside to still be able to see the outside of the library. So if you're going through Cedar Street, you can see the original brick facade of the building and then the new building, as it comes out from that going towards Mill Pond. You'll see that in the diagrams and stuff. And that's what they're trying to come across. So have they picked the right things inside? I don't know. Again, it's conceptual. Will we have all that wood in there? I don't know. Some of the bookcases and things that they have in there, they would line the walls. So we wouldn't always be moving bookshelves, but they wouldn't be in the way of setting up chairs and other things like that. So just some of the things, I think if you see the whole package again, and Maureen, if you were to set up a meeting for folks to get together and see the actual blueprints, plus this rendering, and let's get some feedback, especially if we're stalled a little bit with the write-ups and everything else, it would be a good time to get that information going.
I think that Andrew and his staff would, from out, when we meet and give them feedback, they would be willing to meet with us. But, have a Zoom meeting so they could get our feedback directly and comment
Right.
accordingly.
Okay, good. So does anybody have a comment that they feel that has to be expressed now? No? Okay. Thank you. I know it's going to be hard with Leslie's illness, but let's try to keep this up front and moving along, whether it's with internal meetings or anything else. I know it's going to be dicey with her, but if we can
I just,
keep
you know, just got
Fincy
back
and Andrew on board, yeah, that would be good.
to a hospital, so.
I know our thoughts are with her. We're wishing her the best. I know it'll be difficult, but we need to try to keep focusing and moving forward.
You know,
So if
she's
there's nothing,
pretty good spirits. Biggest
Good.
concern getting that heck out of Dodge in Florida.
well, that's good. I mean, that's part of it. If she feels she's in the right place, that's great. Okay, if there's nothing else on facility, I'm going to move forward to fund development.
Well, I did my big push last month, so thank you for those legacy flyers and thank you to the Friends for cooperating with us. There's really nothing else to report. The only thing I was going to suggest is either to schedule a post-race meeting or a fund development meeting. I don't care which umbrella comes under, between May 22nd and June 2nd, so we can talk about lessons from this year and succession planning. I seriously think that a plan needs to be put in place, and I think we need to talk about the merits of the race, the pros and the cons, and after June 2nd, I'm really not going to be available too much for the next couple of months. So,
And Anna, just to clarify, every time you say succession planning, and then you follow it up with, should we do the race? You really mean the race planning, right? Are we keeping the race, and who are going to be the key stakeholders in moving that forward if we keep it?
yeah, I think
Okay.
that as a board, we need to have a open discussion, just like we're talking openly about the new building. I think we need to talk openly about the race. I mean, have we as a group ever sat down and talked about why are we doing this? Yeah, and I you know, from my own perspective, I think we're at a point where we need to do that.
Okay.
Well, I agree with what your point is, and you explained it to me in detail, and what you want to discuss makes a lot of sense. I can't see anything wrong with having this type of meeting.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. A lot has happened in 26.
Perfect
Yeah,
sense.
you know, it's like, why are we doing this? Well, because we've always done it. Well, that's not a good answer. And not in my opinion, anyway.
And we were also a little more unique in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, I mean, I can pick a date and send out a meeting notice, or we can sit here and do a consensus that's here and go from there and, you know, see where it falls. But, you know, I'm gonna be trapped, you know, we've got some family stuff going on right now. I'm supposed to be away for 2 weeks in June, and my family's coming from Europe for July and August, so I'm gonna be busy.
Okay, and I truly feel that you're a key person in these discussions because you've been pretty much running the sponsorship for the races and everything else for a while as that goes through. So yeah, we would need to pick a date. My concern is having members attend the meeting. Not everybody attends, and I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. Not everybody attends the race meetings that we have now. I certainly feel like it needs to be a full board meeting, and I don't know how others feel in there, but if we're talking about keeping a race, letting the race go, how do we then get those funds into the library that the race brings, and what are those funds that the race brings into the library? That's all stuff that we kind of need to know. Leanne, I'm going to segue over to you quickly. Do we know on average, or is it easy enough to pull? I know that you're going to be out of commission, but easy enough to pull information on, I guess, what we clear for the races?
we typically clear in a year between $10,000 and $12,000, and that's what basically is our operating expenses. I mean, we have monies coming in, but a lot of the monies that come in beyond the race are earmarked. They're earmarked for Memorial, they're earmarked for Seal Deschler, they're earmarked for SLEVA. So they have specific restrictions that we have to use for. The thing that we count on to pay for the insurances and all the, the promotional items and things like that is the race funding. So I'm not saying that the race has to be the be all end all, but we have to have something else in place to replace it. This year, there's going to be a larger receipt because of the number of sponsors that we received. But again, I think we have one sponsor who's not necessarily very happy. We have another sponsor who came on as a surprise. And we had another sponsor who came in, and it's kind of that we're new to the community and it's that first time shot. So the question is, will they return? So I can't turn around and tell you that we're going to be clearing something around 16,000 every year. It just might not be the case. So
I think the point is that we need to clear $10,000 to $12,000 to cover our expenses. And we're not talking about the expense of the race. We're talking about the expense of insurance on the board members as being part of the board and running the board and doing that.
Administrative expenses, our membership fees, paying for the subscriptions and the various other things that come out of the unrestricted funds that we pay for here at the library. At 10 to 12 is a minimum. And in fact, hold on, I have the P&L from last year.
While she's looking for that, I think part of the discussion when we have this meeting should be, how can we, if we decide to cancel the race, how do we parlay existing sponsorship in another direction?
Oh, yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
I've got ideas for that, but
And Diane, to your point about having a board meeting, can you call a special meeting and just have the one agenda item be the race?
Sure.
I mean, that might be the way to get most of the members in attendance.
I would say, probably the Tuesday or the Tuesdays or Thursdays after the race in May. Well, the 23rd, the 25th, the 30th, June 1st are probably the best dates.
How much notice do we need, Lisa, to call a special
I
meeting?
think, Dave, isn't it only like 24, it's like you have to post 24 hours prior to the meeting.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's all.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably 48 would be better. Yeah,
If we call a special meeting, it's gonna be recorded.
everything has to be recorded.
So I think we should call it a meeting of fund development.
And then invite others.
Yeah. I don't think these conversations need to be recorded.
Okay. Good point.
I'm looking just in general, and we're talking not any kind of collections or anything like that, strictly administrative and insurance and other, just what you would call business as usual expenses, that we are in the realm of, so about $11,000 last year.
Yeah, but when you say, you tapped into unrestricted funds, isn't that what unrestricted funds is for?
That's what unrestricted funds are for. Now, the case, are we trying to save, and again, this depends again, the mindset of how we're doing. Are we stockpiling that unrestricted with the idea of that's for, say we get this addition built? There are going to be costs that we have to get into, and those would be the funds that we can go to because.
But I think all of this conversation needs to be held
But
offline.
what I'm saying is, it's, we have to come up with a different income maker just to pay the bills. Just to open the doors of
Right.
Robbins Wells Library Inc.
Right. Thank you. And that was my point, that we can't just simply say, if there's no interest in doing the race, then, we just won't do it. It's a lot of work anyways, because there is a certain amount of funding that has to come in on an annual basis or we will run out of
And I will make the
funding
question-
for
I will make the question
operations.
again. I'd like to see that, everything that Leanne's talking about in writing.
Okay,
Just a question on the idea of the meeting. Can we hold it as an executive session?
no, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
okay.
I don't think you can.
No, it's not about personnel.
No.
I think we'll be fine.
Do we want to do it on the 23rd? When's your surgery?
My surgery is next Monday, but
The 23rd is the night of the chamber annual meeting.
Oh, well, I don't, the 25th, the 30th?
25th is what a
I
Thursday.
could do the 25th.
I can't do the 25th. I mean, I
These are
can-
May dates?
30th,
What day of the week is the 30th?
a Tuesday,
Tuesday.
it's the day after Memorial Day.
I
I could do the 30th.
The 30th?
What time? I could do that's graduation week for us, so I have a lot of evening obligations, but I could do after like 6.
That wouldn't be before 6. Diane's not free until after 6 anyway. Diane's the May 30th,
Yeah, I could do May 30th.
And it's gonna be a fun development meeting, right?
yeah.
Tuesday, May 30th, at what time are we looking at? 6?
At 7?
37.
7, that makes sense. 7.
Is
Okay,
7
so it's
good?
a fund development meeting. You're gonna invite the whole board to it?
I will send a notice to fund development and copy the rest of the board and invite them as well.
Because really, with respect to the race, every board member is on the race committee, they should everybody should be there.
Well, I think you have to make it, that it's a very important meeting and that
Yeah.
you'd like to see everyone there that's on the board.
Yeah, no, I know.
Right.
And, not the loosey-goosey appearances.
Right.
Oh, particularly if you're gonna make strategic, because this is not just fund development, it's strategic.
Yeah. Well, because if we have to come up with another way to raise money, that comes under fund development.
You don't wanna just lump it under fund development, because it's the responsibility of the whole board. You can't have the whole board say, okay, we're not gonna do it, and then just leave fund development hanging on what to do.
Fund development is scheduling a strategic meeting or partially divided.
Right. And strongly urged.
And strongly
Okay,
urged to.
well, I think we can work on the wording. The folks that are attending this meeting understand the importance of attending the meeting on the 30th, and it really is, what's, and maybe under fund development, it should start off with what's the best use of our time. We need to clear a certain dollar amount every year to pay our expenses. Do we continue with the race? What's the level of effort? What's the return on that? If we didn't continue with the race, what would come into play? How would we do that? I think we get a lot of recognition in town with the race, for sponsors. And I think they like those T-shirts to be floating around with their names on them. So I think we can just go back and forth that way. That would work. Is there anything else from fund development, Anna?
No, right, thank you.
Okay, so 5:30, May 30th. And what time did we say?
7?
Okay. Well, 7 will work. If we're going to meet in the library, that only gives us like an hour.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we have a room.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So let's check for the room and let's see if we could start maybe at 6:30. Could people do 6:30?
That's not your New Zealand call night?
That's Thursday night.
Oh, that's good.
Right, Diane?
It is, unless it's a bad week, then it's like many nights. But yeah, I can, this far ahead, I can reserve that. But you're right, Thursdays are New Zealand.
Okay. Karen's gonna check.
How
the room
sad
and
is it that you guys know my late nights? Okay, so we'll aim for that day and see if the rooms are available. All right, if nothing else, we'll move on to Communications Committee with Christine and Fiona.
Nominations.
I
Oops, I skipped over, sorry. And I have a note next to that.
You mentioned we should have the nominations form filled out by the June meeting. So Lisa, if you could send me the most updated form. And I'll get it out to the folks. And again, we're asking if you wish to continue in your position, if you wish a new position.
Been a year.
Ready?
Yeah,
Didn't I just fill that out?
well, no, because then we do it at the annual meeting. We announce officers and the new members and Dave, we need members. So thank you, Lisa, and then we'll get that out.
No problem.
Okay. All right, I apologize for skipping that line. Now we'll go back to communications with Christine and Fiona.
I don't have anything, other than just doing the race, promotions, which we already covered in the race meeting. I don't have anything new. Other than that, no.
Okay, good. Thank you for all of the work that was done to get the publicity and the word out. It was a good effort, and we saw some things in print, and hopefully we'll be on the airwaves one way or the other. Okay, we'll move on to old business and the race, as if we haven't spoken about it enough tonight. So it's important for everybody to be at the race, to support the race. And yes, people have weddings and graduations, and those are exceptions, but please plan to be at the race. We have found that the Saturday pickup is very popular, and that's from 10 to 2 on Saturdays. And I'm looking for people to sign up for times. I can send an email out with the schedule, but we were doing some overlap. So, get there a little early at 9:30 to sign up and do a couple hours. And then, the next crew, before you leave, we'd have a little bit of overlap. It's really not difficult. It's very nice. It gives us a chance to chat with our patrons that come up to sign up for the race or pick up their packets. Anybody know that they're available, know that they're not available for those times?
I can do 12 to 2.
I can do-
Saturday.
I can do 10
I can do 10
or
also.
9:30.
Okay, and I'll do what was it, 12 to 2?
12 to 2?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, 12 to 2:30.
Do we want to have more than one person, right? I think
We
last
should.
year was probably
Yeah,
good
like
to
2
have.
people.
I can do
Yes.
9:30 with Maureen
Yeah.
to
You can do the morning.
the 11.
I'll do it with Anna.
30.
If you're looking
Well,
for signups,
10 to
I'm
12,
looking for
which
12
is
to
9:30
2 also.
to get
All right,
I'll be good, 12 to
so we
2.
got 3 people, 12 to 2:30.
Okay, hold on, time out. Oh my God, Elizabeth, how do you keep up with us? So here we have, you have 12 to 2. Who's signing up from 12 to 2?
Neil, Christine, and Anna.
Anna, Christine, and who?
Neil.
Neil, okay, great. And so then we have, so you're doing the 10 to 2, so that's right on the hours. So then-
Diane, we're doing noon time.
Okay, 12 to 2, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so we're gonna end up having some gaps, because if the pickup is at 10, we need people there at 9:30 to set up.
Fiona and Maureen said they would do that, Diane.
I can't do until noon though. I have to leave by 11.
That's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So I can do 9:30 to 11.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so
Okay, so do you want me to show up at 11 o'clock and then you two show up at noon?
Yeah, and then you can,
And then I can leave at
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
and I'll volunteer my husband to put your canopy up. That's a Scott job.
So nobody's here by themselves, you know what I mean?
And if the,
right,
yeah,
you really can't be, because if you have to run into the office for some reason or run out or do whatever, there is a cash box there in case people sign up on site at the time. So I have Fiona and Maureen from 9:30 to 11. or 9:30 to 11:30?
Be there till noon.
Maureen's gonna be there till noon, Diane.
Okay,
And Christine's gonna come at 11. And stay until she wants to stay.
and then 12 to 2 is Anna and Neil.
Yep.
Okay, we've got 2 people there, and then we've got the breakdown. So if you're there from 12 to 2,
And where is this communicated on the website? For the
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they get it in an email.
I mean,
Do you think also we could have board members, Diane, email you or a group email as to who's actually gonna be at the race too? So we know.
Yeah.
Who to have it, who we're gonna actually have at the race that day.
right? And people arrive when? Volunteers, us, board members should arrive when?
I think probably like 7, especially we might have more food prep this year because of
Okay.
the stuff like that. So, and then we have to get people on the race course, things like that.
Yep.
As well. And we have the t-shirts and whatever, so.
Yep, okay,
Right.
all right, good. I will try to set that schedule for Saturday up. I don't know if I have it right or wrong. If I have it wrong, just correct me in the emails when it comes out, and then I'll ask for confirmation that people, a reminder that people are due there at 7 a.m. and a confirmation of their participation and arrival. I do understand that sometimes, even though most of us need to be there at 7, if you can't get there till 7:30, I understand that, but you know, sometimes you got to drop kids off for daycare and or grandma's house or whatever for the day, so appreciate that.
Diane, Karen checked on the room.
So the community room is not available, but the Lionheart room is, so I did book it.
Oh,
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Like old times.
Thank you very much. That's helpful. All right. So we've got the sign up for the library, the pickup for that. Hanel, we do have a second Hanel event. We're going to fund or piggyback on something that Karen was able to arrange. Jim Len's music, and it's 2 different days, July 17th and the 24th. Music tour of the 60s and the 70s. So that's good because that actually puts us back in good stead with the original donation where we would have 2 events in a year. We would have this in the summertime and one in December. And seeing as our calendar was getting very full and it was hard to find time at the library for a program, I think this is a good use of both resources. So thank you, Karen, for setting that up and offering it out to us.
Is it on both days or just take a day?
No, it's 2 separate programs.
Oh.
Karen was gonna tell you what they were. Something.
So the first one is the Southern California music scene of the late 60s and 70s. This musician, Jim Len, was in a band in that area during that time period and knows a lot of pretty big musicians of the time. And so their group kind of made their climb and were getting to the top and then just didn't make it. So he has a lot of interesting stories and he intersperses some of the music. He plays guitar and sings during the program. And he was also the person who did the ukulele program here for us that we co-sponsored with Parks and Rec. So that's the first one. And then the second one has to do with the Ovation guitar, which was a guitar that was being used at the time by all of these big name musicians that only did a particular thing. And I don't know what that thing is, but it's made in New Hartford, Connecticut. So he has a lot of information about that. And again, he will incorporate music within, that program too. So I'm excited. I think it's gonna be.
Karen, actually, the sixties, venue, I'm counting on some stories about the Wilson family.
Yep, no,
yeah,
me too.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
Good.
And what time?
6:30.
Okay, do that again?
The 17th and the 24th.
6:30 to July 8 or
Yeah,
It's probably gonna be 6:30 to 7:30, I would think that.
right, yeah.
And it's gonna be here.
I did something.
Oh, she
It will
might.
be here in this room.
Great, great, thank you. Okay, any other thoughts? And just, actually, folks, as you do things throughout your personal life, if you come across a program or an entertainer or somebody that you think would be good for Hanel, grab some information or find out a way to get a hold of them, and we can always research that for use going forward. Open board positions, we still have open board positions. If anybody knows anyone who's interested or who you could convince to be interested, we would appreciate filling out our membership. We have some Republican positions open. We have some corporate positions open. So just keep that in mind, if you will.
Just to clarify, Diane, we have 2 corporate and 2 town? Is that
2 town
correct?
Republicans,
Right, and how about corporate? Do we have 2 open corporate
2
positions?
corporates and 2 town Republicans.
So we need 4 bodies. We just prop them up like.
We need more than bodies. We need interested volunteers.
Diane, I have something for new business too.
Okay. New
So-
business, Lisa?
Okay, so usually this time of the year, the staff does a volunteer breakfast, but we couldn't get our act together. Plus, we didn't want to get our act together because it's breakfast. So we did something else for volunteers this year. So everybody gets something. Now I have it right here. And it's, so I hope you like your gifts from staff. And Dave and, I just you're writing the names, not horrible. You're not a volunteer, but I'm giving you a marker. Even though you,
She puts up with us.
I know. Dave, here's your too.
Oh,
You don't get what you get though, sorry. These are, and someone in our staff put a lot of work into one of the girls.
Thank you.
I hope you all like them.
It's very nice. It's not expected.
Yeah, Diane, I have yours here when I see you. Sheila, yours is here somewhere in the other room.
Thank you. That's very nice. That also brings to mind the planning of the staff appreciation dinner.
Yeah.
I hope you guys can mark them. Sorry. So you guys can open one if you want, because I want you to see, I remember I was telling you that about the Japanese crochet that one of our staff is doing. So you got something made personally by this one staff member for.
Oh, I love that.
Someone's going to have to hold it up to the camera.
Oh, yeah.
I saw this the other day.
Iris and I can't see them.
I'm like, where do I? Are these new? These are new. So I saw them on someone's car. I love it.
Oh, actually, David, I'll get, you can have one of those.
Oh,
It's actually been shown.
I don't know where to stand, Diane, to show you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
I think you have to talk. Otherwise, the camera doesn't go to you.
It's a little star.
There you go. See it? Move your hand the other way, the other way. There you go, there you go,
There
there.
you go. Oh, how sweet.
It's a, and then on the back,
Oops. We lost you.
okay, I'm over here.
All right. I think the anticipation is just going to kill us. We'll have to go through that. Thanks for the attempt. But it does bring up staff appreciation dinner. I know Lisa and Karen, you've been talking to the staff. They're up for the dinner. They want the same thing. Did they want to return to the same place, or were they interested in someplace new?
I'm not sure. We have quite a few.
Still have a lot of wooden tap certificates.
I think they would be fine with the same place.
Where was that?
You know, they, again, are just wanting the dinner. Lisa, you think staff would be fine with the wooden tap again? Yeah.
You know, it's conducive to mingling and it's casual.
Well, that's the point, to be able to mingle with each other and to show our appreciation for everything that they've done.
And we do have some of those gift cards. I'm not, do you know how many?
There's like 3 or 4 left.
Okay.
I mean, there's only a few, but I know we had so many.
No, we've been using them for the race and other stuff over the years, so. Anyway.
And we might end up with more. Who knows how that goes through? Okay. So if you're sure that that would be fine with them, we can try to find a date or a time on the calendar and reach out to Wooden Tap to get the back room set up. Thoughts would be summer is tough because of vacations. I don't want to put words in people's mouths.
We had it in October.
Yeah, we said the fall might be better, like maybe end of September. Their friends have their book sale at the end of October, and they're having a Anita Wilson. They're doing a concert in memory of Anita Wilson the weekend before that. So
Both in October.
both of them, yeah.
The late September, beginning of October.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe send me some dates to avoid, and we'll reach out to the Wooden Tap to see if they can accommodate us and what
No,
the expenses are.
People enjoyed that. They really did, because they got to talk to you guys specifically, and they got to talk to each other, which they don't, you know, we don't always get to get together as a
So we're
group.
looking at the end of September.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I'll contact them, Diane.
Great,
Diane?
thank you. That was Maureen.
Yes.
Super, thank you. So we'll have to get an approximate count. And
Just,
Yeah.
so Maureen needs the dates that are no good.
Yeah.
Before she
Yeah,
calls.
so one night we close at 5.
Oh,
Right, so Friday is the date.
Yeah.
So the 29th is the last and also the 22nd.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that,
okay.
something like that would be fine.
okay, great. Great. All right. Anything else for new business? No? Public participation, is there any public in the room or online? I don't see anyone online.
No.
Okay, then next up is a motion for adjournment. I would entertain a motion if someone would make it.
This is Leanne, I'll make a motion.
This is Anna, I'll second it.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Thank you, everyone. Very much appreciate your time tonight. Look forward to seeing you at the race and at the post-race fund meeting, fund development meeting, so we can figure out if it makes sense to keep going forward with this.
Good night, Diane.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Iris. Good night, John Boy.